Hello and welcome to today's Grace's Dreams workshop. In today's workshop we are going to do some weaving and make a colourful weaving fish. And so for today's workshop what you will need your print off of a fish from your play specialists, 2 different colours of A4 paper, but you can colour them in any colour you'd like. If it's white paper, you will also need 1 pair of scissors and a pencil. So while we're waiting for your play specialist to get that, we will start with today's story. Sally and the Limpet. Not long ago, on a Sunday, Sally was down on the beach exploring when she found a brightly coloured, bigger than usual limpet shell. She wanted to take it home, but as she pulled, the limpet made a little squeaking noise and held on to the rock. The harder Sally tugged, the more tightly the limpet held on, until suddenly Sally slipped and fell, with the limpet now stuck to her fingers. Though she pulled with all her might, it just wouldn't come off, so she ran over to her dad. He heaved and groaned, but the limpet made a little squelching noise and held on even tighter. So that afternoon, Sally went home in the car with a limpet stuck to her finger. When they got home, her dad tried using his tools. Her brother tried offering it lettuce and cucumber. But that night, Sally went to bed with a limpet stuck to her finger. Next day it was school. All her friends tried to pull the limpet off Sally's finger. Mr. Blueberry, the nature teacher, said that limpets live for 20 years and stay all their whole lives on the same rock. In the afternoon, Sally's mother took her to the hospital to see the doctor. He tried chemicals, injections, potions and pinchers. Sally was beginning to feel upset. Everyone was making too much fuss all around her. She kicked over the doctor's chair and ran. She ran through the endless corridors. She just wanted to be on her own. She ran out of the hospital and through the town. She didn't stop when she got to the beach. She ran through people's sandcastles. She even ran over a big man. Then she reached the water. She jumped in with all her clothes on. Sally landed with a big splash and then just sat quietly in the water. The limpet, feeling at home once more, made a little squelching noise and wiggled off her finger. But Sally didn't forget what Mr. Blueberry, the nature teacher, had said. Very carefully she lifted the limpet by the top of its shell. She carried it back across the beach, past the man she had walked over, and gently, so gently, she put the limpet back on the very same rock where she had found it the day before. Then, humming to herself, she took the long way home across the beach. The end. Okay, so we are going to start with our fish printout, which you can get from your play specialist. So once you have your fish printout, what we're going to do is we're going to make some holes with a pencil in our printout. So I'm going to make one here. You might want to ask an adult to help with this because it can be quite tricky. I'm going to make another one here. Make another one here and one here. I'm just going to go down, just making some holes in my paper like this. Now the reason I've made holes is so it's easier to cut. So the next stage now is to cut a line along where you've made the hole. Now, please ask an adult to help you with this because it can be quite tricky. There we go. I've made one line. And now I'm going to do another one. Now, if you mess up and you end up cutting too big, you can always ask your play specialist for another one. Okay, cutting another line across, and then with my hole here, I'm cutting another line across. And then another one. And another one. And one last one. So now our fishes look like this. And it looks a bit like the fish scales, the texture of it. So once you've done that, the next thing you need to do is get your 2 coloured paper, or it could be paper that you have coloured in. And what you need to do is cut some strips along like this. It's just some thin strips. I reckon you'll need about 3, possibly 4. See how you get on with 3 strips. Okay, now once you've done that, with these strips you need to fold them in half like that. And then where you have folded them in half, then cut them like that. Now we've made them half the size. So do that with every single one of your strips. I'm going to bend them all over and cut them all in half like that. Last one, bend it over and cut in half. So now we've got 2 piles of different colour strips. So I'm going to put these to the side, and now we're going to start weaving them through our fish. So what you have to do is start from the first one, put it inside the first hole like that, and then you've got to be very careful. You've got to try and get it to come out the next one. So we've made it come out. Then we're going to go over and go in, and then we're going to come out, and then we're going to go in, and then we're going to come out, and then the last one we are going to go in like that. So now it looks something like that. So we've weaved it in and out of our holes, our strips that we cut. Now with my next colour, I'm going to do exactly the same, but I'm going to start here instead. So I'm going to go under, then over. So in this one, where it goes over, with my next colour, it's going under. And see here, it goes under and it's going over. So I'm going under. So now this can be quite fiddly. I'm trying to get it to come out. And then we're going to go in on this one. And the more you do, the more fiddly it gets. So you're going to have to use both sides just to push it out sometimes. There we go. So now that side's like that. And then at the bottom, this one, I'm going to tuck it in there. So now this is what this side looks like. Now back to the yellow again. So I'm going to start by going in with this one, then over, then in. See, as it goes on, it gets more fiddly. In, then over, then in, then over, then in again. There we go. Now we have 3 strips. Now back to our blue again. So with our blue, I'm going to start on the next one. So you're going to need to move it about just to wiggle it about to be able to get your paper to go in. And when you get to this stage, don't worry if you rip it a teeny bit. It can easily be fixed with some glue. And then like that. And then we're making a very colourful rainbowy fish. Goes along. These are all my fish's different colour scales. What colours will you choose? Would you choose to do a rainbow one? You could colour in 2 different types of paper and colour it in all different colours and make it all rainbow coloured, which would be really pretty. Let's do something here. For it to go under. There we go. Oh, see, as it goes on, it gets more fiddly to do. You need to use a lot of concentration. And then like that. And then when you get the hang of it, maybe you could do it again with a friend, but do it as a competition and see who can get the fish finished first. And make it into a game. There's our next bit. And I'm going to go with blue again. As I said, as you get to the end, it gets more fiddly. You've got to use so much more concentration near the end because it's harder to get through. My one wants to be really fiddly right now because I'm on the last piece. So it wants to be really fiddly. And there we have it. It's our patented fish. And if you wanted, you could do smaller lines over here to carry it on. And over here, you could carry it on everywhere. Or you could colour all the rest of the fish in to make it very colourful. Now, well done everyone, and I hope you've enjoyed today's workshop. See you next week.